Hello guys, welcome back. I hope everyone is doing great. In today's video, we have an unboxing. Even though these two fragrances are not technically sealed, one of them did not even come in a box. It's an unboxing and a first impression because I've never gotten my nose on either of these fragrances. So these are both from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur, a house that I absolutely love. This, together with Serge Lutens, sort of marks the beginning of my fragrance journey when I was transitioning or was introduced to niche fragrances from the world of designer fragrances. Both of these fragrances were created by Bertrand Duchaufour. This one is Seville A L'Aube, and this one is Nuit de Tubereuse. So even though at one point, way back, I was really into fragrances from this house, I never actually got my nose on these two. Recently, with some reviews and some positive feedback from people that I trust and watch on YouTube, I decided to try to get these fragrances, and I say try to get because they're both discontinued fragrances. So I do apologize that I'm talking about fragrances that are discontinued, but because some of you mentioned in comments that you don't mind if I talk about discontinued fragrances, as they can always be had and searched for, I decided that I would talk about these, especially since I just got them this week. I purchased both from the same seller. Nuit de Tubéreuse did not come in a box, but Seville A L'Aube did, and they're both pretty much full. Great seller, not someone who was selling each of these for $600. Some of these discontinued fragrances are on eBay for a ridiculous high amount of money. I'm not about to pay $700. I'm not even about to pay $500 for some of these fragrances. But these two were sold to me by a really nice person, trustworthy seller who I've purchased from before, and the price was right for me. So I picked up both. And the juice of Seville A L'Aube is so dark. I'm not sure if it started out this way. And the packaging obviously is the older packaging before they transitioned to the black bottles. These have the gold caps, and I really like the packaging of these. Seville A L'Aube is a 2012 release, while Nuit de Tubereuse is a 2010 release. Like I said, both created by Bertrand Duchaufour, and Nuit de Tubereuse was on Persolet's list for top tuberose fragrances. I'm really loving tuberose lately. I just spoke about a Châle by the House of Neil Vermeer. I just got Picciola, which is the other tuberose fragrance. And of course, I've been talking about other tuberose fragrances like Hiram Green's Moon Bloom, which is a really nice one, and the fragrance that Antoine Lee created for Comme des Garçons, Daphne. I did get a bottle of that. It came all the way from England, London. So I'm liking tuberose. I also really do love orange blossom, and Seville A L'Aube is an orange blossom fragrance. And from the description and what I read in the note listing, this one should be quite interesting. Although this does have some negative reviews as well, I nonetheless went for it. So we'll see what they smell like. These will be first impressions, and we'll start with this one since it's the one that I'm holding. The caps are so heavy for these bottles, and even the bottles themselves are made of a substantial glass. I think they sort of have nice weight to them, and the caps are definitely heavy. I would not want to drop this on my foot. So let's spray and see what we get here. I'm getting freshness. I'm getting something that's almost like mandarin, fresh, floral, and green components. There's almost something a little bit musky about the fragrance, or maybe incensey, but in a bright way. And then as it's settling down from the initial spray, which I feel like was more musky and bright and citrusy, in these few moments as it's settling down, I'm starting to get a sweet orange blossom, their sweetness to the fragrance. It's sweet, it's floral, it's full-bodied, it's summer, but not fresh, not super fresh. So it's fresh in the sense that it's a floral orange blossom with a muskiness to it, and the sweetness is almost a little bit syrupy in here, which I can appreciate. Sweetness that smells like too much vanillin and saccharine, sugary, I don't like. If you know me and you know my channel, you know I don't like sweet fragrances, but I do like beeswax. I like honey in fragrances. So when the sweetness is coming from something like orange blossom, that floral sweetness, and something like a beeswax, and you have that syrupy, sort of thick, a more natural sweetness, I'm totally game for that. I totally like that. And even though a lot of people like fresh citrus, maybe transparent type of fragrances in the summer, I personally happen to like the thicker floral fresh fragrances, if that makes sense. So yes, this is giving me the impression that it's thick and syrupy and floral, and I definitely get the orange blossom. There's something fresh in here. It's still very summer appropriate, maybe a summer evening. There's an MDCI that I recently added to my collection, and I was saying how it's a summer evening fragrance as well. I'm blanking on the name right now. I'll put it up on the screen. But it's sort of in consistency. I'm not saying it smells the same. It's sort of the same consistency, and in my opinion is a summery scent profile. And actually that one is also themed on an area in southern Spain, as is this one, obviously. It's sweet, it's floral, and I do have the notes written down here. So I knew that there was beeswax in here, and I knew to expect the orange blossom beeswax combination, but I wasn't sure exactly what it was going to smell like. There are some people, I read many reviews about this fragrance. Some people find this cloying and too sweet. I really like the way it smells so far. I don't know in the dry down. I don't know how it performs on skin after several hours, but what I'm smelling so far, I really like. Yes, it's sweet. There's almost like a gummy texture to it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it has a sort of gummy texture, and it is syrupy, and yes, it is sweet and floral. I love the beeswax. It's not pissy or animalic. I'm not getting anything animalic in here. There's definitely depth to the fragrance. I feel like it's more complex than what I'm making it sound like. I'm mentioning the orange blossom and the beeswax, but I do feel like there's a complexity. There are other things going on in here that gives this sort of a depth and a complexity. It doesn't smell linear. It doesn't smell super simplistic, if that makes sense. This is nice. I really like this. I think I'm going to enjoy this on summer nights. I have absolutely no regrets purchasing this. Yes, it's syrupy and sweet, but again, the sweetness to my nose smells like this full-bodied natural sweetness that comes along with this orange blossom that's lush with these green components, and this beeswax that's a very natural smelling sweetness. So the fragrance has petitgrain. Oh, there are aldehydes and lavender in the opening. So that's what was smelling fresh and musky. It's aldehydic in the opening. And of course, there is the beeswax and the orange blossom. Benzoin. So the benzoin is also giving a warmth, a warm vanillic sort of aspect to the fragrance. And there is a tobacco note in here. Profumo doesn't list it. Fragrantica lists it. I have read about the tobacco note in here, and I'm not getting anything super prominent, but there is something of a tobacco leaf that's almost a hint of smokiness, which is why I'm describing this as a layered, complex fragrance. This is not super simple, even though it sounds like a super simple fragrance, with the beeswax, orange blossom being the prominent sort of takeaway from this. There are hints of lavender, and you have all the amber and the resins in the backdrop. This is really nice. Very nice fragrance by Bertrand Duchaufour. So next, let's spray this one. This one I'm really dying to spray on skin. I was super patient not spraying these fragrances until I was ready to create this video, but I'm ready to get my nose on this one, especially since Persole's put this one on his list for top tuberose fragrances. I'm forgetting which other ones he put on the list. Serge Lutens Tuberose Criminal, that was on the list. I have that. I love that one. Camphoraceous, very interesting tuberose fragrance. The opening smells very aldehydic and musky, so I'm not really getting the development of notes yet. I have read reviews, the good and the bad, so I know that some reviewers say, where's the tuberose in here? So I'm not expecting a fragrance that is focused on only the tuberose. I know there's an extensive note listing for this fragrance. And like I said in a recent video, Bertrand Duchaufour fragrances, it seems like a lot of them have a very extensive note listing, which means, I guess, that they're complex and layered, which is nice. Oh, this is nice. It seems like a dark contrast against the tuberose. Spices, something aromatic as well, but I'm getting the impression that the tuberose is sort of being contrasted with spices and something a little bit darker. It's not sweet. I'm getting florals in here in addition to the tuberose, but it's not a sweet floral fragrance, which I like. There's something fresh as well, almost like an orangey, fresh citrus, and it smells a little bit musky. Did I say that? Maybe a little aldehydic. So this is not a tuberose fragrance like Carnal Flower. That one is lush, in your face. It's like femme fatale. It's delicious, a delicious, bold tuberose. I recently added, well, it's been some months, I just haven't spoken about it, Paris Monte Carlo, the Extrait, the tuberose. Excellent, excellent tuberose fragrance. Focuses on the tuberose. Echal, a tuberose that's taken in a green direction with something figgy, mossy, beautiful fragrance that I ordered a decant of. This one, like Echal, not that it smells like Neil Vermeer's Echal, but this one utilizes tuberose, but has a lot more going on. In other words, it's not all about the tuberose like Carnal Flower or the Paris Monte Carlo or Moon Bloom by Hiram Green. It's not that type. At least from this first impression, I think it's obvious. It's really nice. There's something syrupy, there's something soft. The tuberose is not bold, though. I have to agree with the reviewers that some of them say, where's the tuberose? And they can't even find the tuberose. I do detect the tuberose, but I'm also getting jasmine in here. There are other florals playing a role, and I feel like there are spices and aromatic components, as well as something maybe aldehydic in the fragrance, or musky. In terms of sweetness, it's mild. Love that. I love that this is not paired with a ton of sweetness, florals and sweet. That would be something that would not be to my liking. And I think part of me has a lot of trust in Bertrand Duchaufour fragrances. So this is great. Even though it's not tuberose-centric in my opinion, I went into it knowing that. That's fine. I have those sorts of fragrances. This is great. I like this. There's something radiating. There's something fresh. There's something floral and a tad sweet, but there's something radiating in here, and I can't put my finger on it. And there is spices, and at the same time, there's this orangey citrus. So again, this is a layered fragrance. I totally see why Persolaise put this on the list. It's a nice take on tuberose. So let's see, there's angelica, cardamom, pepper, pink pepper, there's mandarin, there is mango in here, interesting. Orange blossom, along with ylang ylang, with the tuberose, clove, musk, styrax, sandalwood. I do remember reading about the mango note in here, actually, and we all know Bertrand Duchaufour has a great talent for fruit notes and fragrances. I'm always mentioning MDCI's La Belle Helene. That was in my recent Discoveries video. I really like that. I love what he did with pear. I'm not into fruity fragrances. I'm not sure if I'm detecting a prominent mango in here. I'm not sure that I'm really detecting, I'm not even sure what mango would smell like in a fragrance, to be honest, but there's nothing outwardly fruity. There's nothing bright and fruity about this. Very, very pretty, and maybe not a prominent, bold tuberose note in here, but this is a layered, complex fragrance. And if my first impression gets me to appreciate how complex these fragrances are, I think there's a reason why a lot of people like them, despite the fact that they've been discontinued. Why do they discontinue these great fragrances? There's a freshness. I'm picking up on the orange blossom now. Every time I put my nose to my arm, I'm picking up on something new. So I'll stop sniffing my arm and I'll just say that these two discontinued fragrances, I guess I would consider, at least from my first impressions, to be discontinued gems from the house of L'Artisan Parfumeur. Let me know in the comments if you guys are familiar with these, what you think of them, if you share my same opinions on these two fragrances. I will wear more, see how they perform on skin, and maybe include them in some other videos down the road. This cap here is rattling a little bit. I think it's a little bit loose. But nonetheless, they're full bottles. So great purchase. Glad to have these. As always, thank you so much for watching, your support, and your comments. Until next time. Bye, guys.